the console wars. This is a battle where fans have been raging for over 2 decades for their chosen platform. But in 2025, that might be coming to an end, where a lot of people are citing PlayStation as the dominant victor over this, especially because of their sales in their system. That actually might not be the case. In reality, Microsoft may be the one that actually comes out the winner. Now, that may be a little hard to believe, but make sure you watch the whole video so you can get a better understanding of where I'm coming from with this. Now, I too was actually about to make a video where the title was going to be something around the aspect of, you know what? Just go ahead and buy a PlayStation 5. But there are some things that are coming out that are making me change my thought process a little bit. Just hear me out. Now, before we get into it, welcome back to the channel, everyone, where today we're talking about why PlayStation's perceived victory may just be a mirage. We all know that Microsoft has changed their strategy when it comes to the Xbox gaming platform, and their new strategy is to publish on everything. We're at the point now where Microsoft is already confirmed to drop several games on the PlayStation platform this year. We have Indiana Jones that is set to come out in spring of this year. We have Forza that's coming out later this year. We already know that Doom the Dark Ages comes out in about 2 months from now, along with Age of Mythology. And on top of that, we do have rumors that later this year, the Gears of War trilogy that is rumored itself to come out will also be joining the PlayStation 5. And potentially games like Halo will be going on PlayStation as well. Now, with all those games coming over, it definitely seems like a good alternative will be going to the PlayStation, especially if you only have the funds to pick one platform over the other. The reason why I bring that up is because a good chunk, half of the PlayStation install base is still on PlayStation 4s, about 40 to almost 50% of their active players. Now, with all those games going over to PlayStation, the other thing to keep in mind is PlayStation has a huge library of their own games that aren't on Xbox. Games that have all been considered as Game of the Year. You have games like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2, God of War and God of War Ragnarok. The Horizon series, though I'm not really a big fan of Horizon, but you still have those games. On top of that, we have games coming out this year like Ghost of Yotai that comes out later on this year. In the trailer for Death Stranding 2 just released, which I have to say personally looks phenomenal. Now, we do know that Death Stranding 1 is on the Xbox as well. It just came to that platform, but as for right now, Death Stranding 2 is only a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Now, with all these things going on, it does make it very rough to buy Xbox, because in reality, why go and buy an Xbox and be locked into this platform when you can go and get a PlayStation 5 and get all of these games from Xbox and from Sony? That's been a huge argument out there. And it seems like this year that your PlayStation becoming Xbox is going to be a closer reality. Now, yes, you don't have things like Game Pass. You may not get all these games day one for free with your subscription on PlayStation. With all that being said, there is another argument where you can just buy a PlayStation and you can use something like a Fire Stick if you want to go ahead and play your Xbox games. With the Fire Stick, you can still pair pretty much any Bluetooth controller to the Fire Stick. You don't really need an Xbox controller. In games like Indiana Jones, as long as you have good internet, for example, you can stream Indiana Jones or Doom the Dark Ages or whatever relatively well. So that does eliminate the reason to have that Xbox platform. On the flip side, there are going to be fans that want to still play these Xbox games, but they want that really high 4K resolution, and you're not going to get that with using something like the Fire Stick. So again, in a lot of respects, even though you have to pay like $70 per these games, and some of these games are older, have been out a while, and they're still charging full price for these games like Forza or Age of Mythology or even Indiana Jones at this rate. If you don't mind doing that, PlayStation would definitely look to be the better option. On top of that, there's a lot of people out there that just don't really want Game Pass and they don't find the value in it. Now, personally, I think Game Pass is a phenomenal value, but not everyone still feels that way. Now, here's the part where things get relatively interesting. It seems like Microsoft has actually this whole time been quietly playing the long game. A lot of us have personally been kind of doubting Phil Spencer in his decisions, and personally, I have too. Microsoft has seemed to be all over the board with their messaging, and it's been very confusing, especially when they seem to be doubling down a few years ago with them not going third party to now saying that there's no red lines and that pretty much nothing's off the table. But I feel like Microsoft internally and kind of externally clearly knows where they're going and what they're trying to do right now. And Microsoft actually holds all of the cards when it comes to the game industry. Now, before I move on, I want to say this has nothing to do with Nintendo. This whole video, just let's pretend like Nintendo doesn't exist. Nintendo is Nintendo, and they're always going to be doing their own thing that's going to be outside of what all these other companies are doing. But when it comes to the PC market, the Xbox market, and the PlayStation market, well, that's a whole nother story. See, here's the thing. Microsoft has said in pretty much multiple different interviews that they know they lost the console war, and everyone's been running with those headlines And it makes it seem like Microsoft is just done and it's over. And it also seems like people are putting into question whether the next Xbox is coming out. We do know for a fact that it's pretty much all approved, and I think Satya Nadella is the only one left to actually approve it. I don't know if he has or not by the time I'm recording this video, but we pretty much can confirm that the next Xbox is coming out, and it looks like it's going to be coming out by 2027. We also just got rumors about the Xbox handheld coming out. Now, there's rumors also that that system is going to be coming out at the end of this year, but Microsoft themselves said it's a few years away. I don't know what to take with that. Maybe you should just get a Steam Deck. I don't know. Regardless of all that, we know that they are working on a handheld, so we know the Xbox brand isn't quite over yet. I think in reality, not only are they redefining what it means to be an Xbox gamer, they're actually about to double down and actually take over the entire market, which is Microsoft's real strategy here. And as much as a lot of us might not want to admit it, even though I do strongly feel if they left a lot of these really big games like Indiana Jones or Doom the Dark Ages on Xbox only, I do feel that that would encourage a lot of the PlayStation fan base to come over to Xbox. The strategy that they're going may actually involve them taking over the entire gaming community, or it may get to the point where the Xbox is the only game system you actually need. Again, like I said, we're not talking about Nintendo. So if it's going to be actually closer to a PC, that means it's going to actually be able to run PC game storefronts. Phil Spencer already said about a year or two ago that he actually wants something like the Epic Store on the Xbox platform. Now, on top of that, what Windows Central is talking about as well is Steam will also be on this platform. Now, if they in fact do that, that is going to be a huge game changer. Now, for those who don't know, why is this so important? Well, the reason why that's so important is because over the past few years, Sony has been making a more aggressive push into PC gaming. Now, earlier last year, the executives at Sony did say that they are going to do more pushing on other platforms that they clarify later on that they were talking about PC. As we can already see that pretty much every single mainline big PlayStation game is on PC. Whether it's Ratchet and Clank, whether it's Spider-Man, whether it's Ghost of Tsushima, whether it's God of War, Last of Us, Horizon, you name it, everything on there besides Gran Turismo, it seems like at this point, is on PC. So here's the point that I was referencing in the beginning of this video. The reason why Microsoft can take it all is because if their next Xbox can run Steam, effectively all those games I just named off will be running on the next gen Xbox, which is insane to think about. To think that Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us will all be Xbox games. Now, the question is, how can they do that? Of course, Sony will never let that happen, but here's the problem. They have to. If PlayStation wants to keep making these AAA games that cost them $200 to $300 million, they already admit it, and they know that they have to put these games on the PC platform. One of PlayStation former CEOs have actually said themselves that they have a strong push. And the reason why they're pushing so hard into the PC market is because of China. That is a huge install base where they're not going to want to go out and buy a PlayStation. They're going to want to play on PC. So PlayStation is not going to get rid of that market, on top of the fact that I think we're at the point where most people that want a PlayStation already have a PlayStation. There's not more that they can go into in the PlayStation market until they start diving into the PC market, which is huge. And so this is the part where PlayStation is not going to have a choice but to put those games technically on Xbox. Now, here's going to be the crazy thing. If this does in fact happen and these games do start porting over to Xbox indirectly, that means that in turn, PlayStation may have to come out with making PlayStation version of these games. Because look, if it's already on Xbox, you might as well make a better optimized game on Xbox. Now, here's the other aspect of this as well. Microsoft effectively can stop Sony from getting all of these deals and locking them into the PlayStation platform. Because let's be honest, most games are always going to release on Steam at this point when it's a third-party publisher. But Sony for the past few years has been locking a lot of their games down when it comes to the console games on just the PlayStation platform. If they want to spend X amount of dollars to put it only on PlayStation, not on Xbox, that's cool, because if it's still going to Steam, Xbox is still going to get it. So Sony will effectively be throwing money out the window. On top of that, this will also increase the Xbox library to the point where PlayStation library wouldn't be able to keep up. And this is what I mean by that. Steam on a regular basis gets these really big, popular, and viral games. Last year, for example, we had games like Lockdown Protocol and Lethal Company go viral. So effectively, a lot of these games that are super popular and people love and are playing will be on the Xbox like super long in advance, where in just one move, the Xbox will be the platform to get the games first well before they come to the PlayStation in a lot of scenarios. Now, the thing is, how is this beneficial for Valve? Xbox is the one that's making the system. You'll be buying stuff on Xbox. How will this work out? Well, we don't know that as of yet, but ideally there may be an aspect where all these storefronts are all just baked into one UI. You may be able to still buy games, but when you buy it, it lets you know that you're buying it through Steam or you're buying it through Microsoft or whatever the case may be. And that way you can import your actual library over to your Xbox. So if you own games in Steam, your library carries over. Or it could be something as simple as you buy it on Steam, whether it's on a computer, and it pops up on your Xbox. We don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that. But ultimately, the point is you'll have a much bigger library with the Xbox platform. Now, maybe doing it that way, Microsoft may take a small cut. Microsoft may take no cut at all when it comes to buying these Steam games. But regardless of that, Microsoft is still gonna make a lot of money because this is also gonna increase Game Pass subscriptions. If you have an Xbox that can run all of your PlayStation games on one device, and you get Game Pass, so those games like Indiana Jones or Doom the Dark Ages or all the other stuff you don't have to now pay for, that may be the great way to go. Now, here's another possibility that may surprise you, and this all depends on how much of Windows this Xbox is actually going to be, or like a PC. And that's the aspect of, if Microsoft does go heavy on trying to blur the lines between the Xbox and the PC, there's a very strong fact that PlayStation accessories may work on the Xbox. Because in reality, right now, you can use your PlayStation accessories on your PC. I pair my DualSense controller with my PC from time to time to get that, to get those PlayStation 5 controller features when I play PlayStation games on my computer. Or the fact that I use my 3D Pulse headphones on my PC like all the time. If you want to play Spider-Man on your Xbox and still have your PlayStation 5 controller, you might be able to do that. So in essence, we're seeing a shift away from traditional console wars to a more unifying gaming ecosystem. If this happens, Microsoft will be redefining what it means to be an Xbox gamer, where if you're on the Xbox side, you're going to get the Xbox exclusive, whatever exclusives there are, if there is any. You're going to get Game Pass, and you're going to get those PlayStation exclusives, obviously via Steam, where in reality, this can make Xbox the ultimate gaming hub. Now, here's another thing to think about. Only is Xbox going to be dipping heavily into the PlayStation ecosystem and their fan base, they also are going to be dipping into the PC fan base as well. A lot of people on the PC side, they're not big fans of pre-builds. In the PC ecosystem, it is a thing where you have to pretty much build your computer. Right now, I'm going through the process of building my computer. It's a pain, but I'm going through the process of building one myself. And because of that out the gate automatically makes people not really big into console gaming, on top of the fact that you have to pay for subscriptions, games cost more money sometimes on consoles, so a lot of people just go to the PC route, which is totally fine. I actually been really enjoying being in the PC family. And then obviously PCs can do more than just play video games. But here's the thing, imagine a world where, yes, it is a pre-build, but all your games are now optimized for the platform that you're playing on. If this happens, a lot of game devs will be obviously working hard to optimize their games for the new Xbox like they're already doing now. This will encourage people to make games for the Xbox, make sure it runs well, so the PC market will not have to worry about things like bad ports. Bad ports will be a thing of the past, because instead of buying maybe a PC version of the game, you get the Xbox version of the game that's optimized. Now, obviously, all Microsoft has to do is put like widescreen support on the Xbox, and you can literally take your Xbox and hook it up to your ultra wide monitor, or you can hook it up to your television, especially for probably a much lower price. You guys are going to still have the option to build your PCs if you want to. That's not going away. You're going to be able to still go like, you want the highest, the best frame rates, all that stuff. But a lot of people, believe it or not, still don't want to do that. They want the compact and the simplicity, but they don't want all the other stuff that comes from the console side, like I said earlier, higher price games and being locked into a walled garden. And this new Xbox could potentially get rid of those walls, because as we see, Microsoft is no longer in the mindset of locking everything down, but this will effectively allow them to control your living room and maybe even your desktop space. So while a lot of people out there are pushing a very strong narrative that PlayStation 1, and effectively as of right now, in the state that we're in right now, they kind of have. Right now, a lot of this stuff is rumors and speculation, and we just don't fully know yet. But based off of places like Windows Central and other outlets, it does seem to be, in fact, where they're going with this stuff. And it only makes logical sense when Microsoft already owns Windows and Xbox. it would just make total sense to merge them together. This may actually also work hand in hand with their new handheld. Microsoft already said that their next handheld is a few years away. It could actually be launching very close around the time when the new Xbox comes out. And you could now get this kind of Apple effect, but this whole Xbox family and ecosystem where everything goes together. You have your handheld that could potentially run PlayStation games as well, Steam and Xbox. You have your Xbox home console where you can hook it up to like your monitor, your TV, whatever you want. And then you also have Game Pass, where PlayStation may actually start putting some of their games on the Game Pass. Obviously, I don't think they're gonna do it right out the gate, but as time goes on, they actually may do something similar to that. What do you guys think about this? Do you think this is reality, especially based off all the information we have? How do you feel that Xbox stands in the current environment that we're in, especially with the way that Sony's going? Comment that all down below. I'm really interested in what you guys think about this. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and possibly even liking the video. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. I have more videos like this coming soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.